Hello, this is What Cast on Matt. Been a while, been a couple of weeks since I last posted the second half of the thing I'm going to post today. Unfortunately, this is the first half of the debate of the last video that I posted, but this one doesn't have any video. It's just audio because it was recorded on TikTok. They normally record it as a matter of formality, and it got messed up, and then somebody reported I had to restart it. So the second half was fine, which I posted before. But this half was probably the funnier half. People have requested that I post it. So I'm going to, and I do apologise that it's only audio, but we discuss the final experiment as usual. It's gas pressure / spurs kimo, by the way. And we also discuss satellites, which is very funny. And we get into religion a little bit and the obvious... cope over the final experiment and why they won't accept it, etc. Enjoy. And once again, apologies, there's no video to it, but you know, the audio's good. Cheers.
Okay.
I was about to invite you up. Someone just asked where you were, but I haven't done lives for ages. And the last couple of lives I did, you weren't around. You was doing your own lives, weren't you? For a bit.
Yeah, I was doing the rockets in space thing. Yeah. So how's it going? How's the found your proof you're looking for?
What, Ed? All of the stuff that you'll just reject regardless. That stuff, yeah.
You know, but I don't. It's quite funny because I think the globers are more panicking than the flat earthers. You know,
Who is so? I haven't even been around for 2 months. We're talking about panicking.
Eh?
I haven't even been on here for about 2 months.
Not you specifically, but I just mean globers are just like desperate for a model, desperate for a map, desperate to know what's above and below.
So that's your way of saying that you definitely haven't got a model map or any measurements for anything, and it doesn't matter. That's what you mean by that, right?
Well, you could make your own model. There's nothing stopping you. There's nothing stopping.
What do I need a model for?
Exactly.
No, but everything that I believed was proved correct with TFE that you just reject.
You were told something, you believed it. You didn't check it, you didn't model it, you didn't verify yourself.
I need to go to Antarctica myself and verify all of the things that they've come back with from there. Have you seen all of the evidence they brought back? Not just... Hello, Stacey.
I'm just saying a lot of the things that you believe, you were just told. You don't know it for sure. You don't know it to be fact. You just believe what you were told, right? So I'm just saying flat Earth at this moment is just sailing along, swimmingly at the moment.
Yeah.
Numbers are increasing.
No, that's bullshit. Numbers might be increasing on this ridiculous app, but I know for a fact that numbers are decreasing on things like YouTube.
10% in America, that's 35 million. When it started, it was less than 1%.
Yeah, you said that before, right? But
yeah, so I'm just showing you that around the world, it's always like 1 in 6, 1 in 8, 1 in 9, 1 in 10. There's always a massive amount of people coming to flat Earth. So I think we're doing great. I think that's why I'm seeing a lot of the globers desperately trying to do their best to slow it down. But as someone that creates flat Earth content sometimes on YouTube and that, I can guarantee you that there's less traffic there. YouTube has been we've been censored out of YouTube. That's why. They had a meeting in America to say, look, we need to stop this. We need to slow it down. There are too many flat earthers. People are coming into this too quickly. What are you going to do about it? They said, we'll put a banner up telling people that it's an ancient, archaic idea. Yeah, I'll get that under all my videos. Yeah, that's because it's a censorship. So they're trying to get
that's
people
not away. Censorship, is it? That's just saying this is drivel. Like, again, I agree with you. They don't need to do that. I wish they didn't do things like that. They don't need to do it. Well,
that's the reason for that. There's a reason because people realize, well, hold on a second. We didn't go to the moon. The moon, the Earth's not a ball. Gravity's, well, hold on a second. And there were millions of people. Like I've just told you, 35 million Americans. That's a lot of people coming to the understanding.
Why do you say all of, like, why do you speak with such confidence when you... Like, do you not feel like
that we're not on a globe?
You don't know, do you? Like, how do you know for it? You come here and you say you don't know anything. You'll just believe in other people. But you did one observation of a lighthouse or something.
Normal people do not show fake pictures of something that's meant to be real.
Well, right? Like you did with a couple of lives ago, and you showed the picture of the Chinese space station. Look at that; it's flat. And then got massively debunked by the fact that it was a 360 camera that was distorting everything, and you didn't bother to check.
Well, I wouldn't say that was all 360 cameras. Some of them were, but not all of them were. But I mean, that's irrelevant. That's not a big deal.
Oh, that's irrelevant. Yeah, that's what cracks me up. Like you use that as evidence.
Yeah,
Got debunked, so you just don't worry.
Hold on. You're acting like I said no. I said, okay, fine, it's 360 and move forward. Whatever, fine, it's 360. No big deal. You're the one that gets like, all excited over, look how we got that wrong. Who cares about that? That's not the reason why we think the Earth is flat. There are different reasons why we think the Earth is flat. And we've seen a lot of globers panicking, not saying you specifically, but globers are panicking, trying to slow it down. And they're not doing a very good job.
Are there any globers in here that are panicking?
No, they're not going to say they're panicking, but by their actions, because like I said, we see a lot of lives, or I've seen a lot of lives, global lives, saying the Earth is not flat, the Earth is a ball, space is real, we went to the moon, because they want to put that out there because they realize there are too many people coming towards the flat Earth. It's massive.
There's not.
That's why I'm not going.
I would have agreed with you a year ago. I would have agreed with you that there was a mass amount of people looking at flat Earth because everything what flat earthers say about this is 100% true, what you all say, and I would agree with you on this. Most people that get into this argument or come across this online, they'll find it, they'll say, oh, that's fucking ridiculous. The Earth isn't flat. They'll then start looking at it, listening to flat earthers, and then they'll start thinking, actually, I don't know nothing about this topic. Right. So that can make people be more susceptible to if you're from a conspiracy type mindset where you don't trust the government, you don't trust this or whatever, you could easily be led down that path of flat earth. But surely the thing that bothers me about flat earthers isn't the fact that you're suspicious of things. Everyone should be suspicious of what we're told, right? I agree. But is when things are done that you ask and you just won't accept them anyway because you've already got your conclusion, so you don't care about evidence. That's what pisses me off. I think that is ridiculous.
Because I think a lot of flat earthers are at the point where it's like, well, it doesn't matter what you say now. It's been 10 years plus. So because
you've got nothing new in 10 years. Is that a bit lame?
No, because we're not meant to bring something new.
Yes,
you guys are meant to bring something new.
You need to have like a model that can model what everything does. You don't even have that.
It then? So model it yourself.
This is the globe.
No, model a flat Earth. If you're
why would I want to make your point for you?
Yeah, but I'm saying you couldn't make a flat Earth model, could you?
No, exactly. And that's your problem.
Yeah, because where we live, use your brain. We live in a realm that is unexplainable. If you can explain it, then explain it.
The globe explains it.
We don't live on a globe. You haven't shown curvature.
No, you just reject any evidence of curvature.
What's the evidence for curvature?
Bottom, top, sunsets, bottom obstructions on ships, that's compression. You've got a stupid reason for where all of them don't work.
Yeah, but the horizon that you're using is not geometrical. It's not physical. It's apparent.
So you keep saying. But that's just...
You can't use that as evidence.
Yes, you can, because that's just drivel that you come out with. Like, you all pretend that the sun can be anywhere because it's just an apparent sun. So the sun in Antarctica spinning around over people's heads don't matter anyway.
Agree, right, that the horizon can move from one position day by day, even in the same day, right? We agree with that, yeah? Because it's not fixed.
Say again. No, there is still a physical horizon. It's just the atmospherics make it appear to be somewhere else at times.
Well, that's the point. You're just making that wild claim. You're not. It's
not a wild claim. We look through an atmosphere at everything, right? There's nothing wild about that.
Listen to what's being said. Flat earthers are telling you the horizon moves.
What, those geniuses flat earthers? Shall I listen to them?
No, I've been out there seeing it myself. The horizon fluctuates. So if you'd went out there and saw the horizon fluctuate, how would you answer then something going behind something that fluctuates? Did it go behind it at 1 mile? Did it go behind the horizon at 10 miles?
Oh, so you're saying just a bigger globe then, right? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying there's no curvature.
So, but things are going below the horizon. So it's just at different distances.
They're not going below, are they? It just looks like that.
No, it doesn't just look like that. You've seen, I've shown you this, and you said compression as a really lame, ridiculous.
Things can be compressed, and things.
Yeah, things can be compressed, but the compression, it would crush everything into a point of darkness. It wouldn't obscure.
No, completely. It would do what we observe. What we see is what would happen.
So when you see compressed windmills at sea, the whatever they're called, and they've got yellow at the bottom. If that's compression, why do you not see a big block of yellow still at the bottom?
Image. 1 second. I might have. No, I don't think I've got it. Okay, look. I've got a picture here. Can I put my camera on? I think I can. Alright, so this is the building, right? We're looking out in the water. So if you look at the windows, they get tighter and tighter and tighter.
The what? Sorry, the windows.
The windows, yeah. So as you go down...
You can still see the land in front of that building.
Yeah, but what I'm pointing out to you is the compression part.
Yes, compression happens. I'm saying that when I give you the examples of half of the boat missing, you say compression. That's not the same as that.
All that's happened is it's been compressed, and that's why the bottom disappears, right? It's not that big of a deal.
The bottom, what are you talking about? The bottom's been compressed. It hasn't disappeared. It's just narrowed because of the atmospheric.
That horizon, listen, that horizon's not geometrical.
What horizon?
The horizon where the bottom red line is not physical. The horizon in this image is not physical. So that means tomorrow, that horizon could go up or it could go down. It could go up or down. It could come towards me. It could go away from me.
So why is it? Why is it when people say that when you guys all give it, we can see too far and all that, and everybody says atmospheric refraction. Yeah, refraction's magic, is it? Like, so, and then when it works for you, it's like, yeah, well, the horizon goes up and down, and everything goes up and down behind it. Like, you'll use that when you need it.
That's an explanation for why things disappear. You haven't got proof that we're on a board. That's the point here. You're saying the sunset. Well, the sunset's behind what?
No, not the sunset. The 24-hour sun in Antarctica.
Yeah, he didn't. Again, that wasn't verified.
Yeah, because he didn't phone Steve.
He didn't make a live WhatsApp call live at the time. They didn't do it 24-hour live stream. They didn't make the phone call. So we have to throw that away.
No, you don't. There's a 24-hour video you can go watch, and you can refute. Go through it. Go through frame by frame and refute it.
It took weeks to produce that, so it could have been.
No, it didn't take weeks to produce it.
It did take weeks.
No, it took weeks to get it all uploaded because it's a fucking enormous file.
Yeah, they take that.
What do you think it's going to go up in 2 minutes? A 24-hour video.
Because if they live streamed it, it would have recorded live automatically.
But you know the reasons why they didn't live stream it. They even attempted to do it on Rumble.
Their excuses because they're trying to lie to us. That's why.
So what do you?
Trying to pull the water.
Now you've had time to think about it. Then what do you think they did to fake this videos that was all live? By the way, because I watched them.
No, they didn't. They showed you the daytime. They didn't show you the nighttime.
Yeah, because the sun was up for 24 hours.
Yeah, you didn't see that. You saw the daytime sun. That's the only time we saw them live.
There's a nighttime sun usually, is there?
Yeah, the midnight sun. That's what it'd be called.
Yeah, that's what they did because I was watching it at solar midnight on a live stream.
It wasn't live.
He was answering. We've gone through this so many fucking times.
I know, this is what I've said. I don't know why you want to go over the old...
Because you're just such a bullshit artist. You know that's what happened.
The answers to that. I'm just here to say, like, Flat Earth is doing great at the moment. Like I said, we're getting lots of new people coming towards it.
So what's doing great about it? What new evidence of you are you convincing?
Just because you guys fail to understand what's going on, it doesn't require something new. It needs you to catch up.
We don't need, as usual, flat earthers don't need to present anything. They can just sit there going, nah, I don't believe that. What evidence you got there? I've got this. No, I don't believe that either. Think about
the flat earthers are in a class and you guys need to catch up to the rest of the class.
The irony.
That's what's going on here. Yeah. You guys are lagging behind. Like, you just can't see it.
What do you think's going on? What do you think's going on with Witsit? He's done a big long coping session the other day on YouTube, saying it's still flat. But the sun was definitely up for 24 hours, but he doesn't know how. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, they tried to cause like a division in Flat Earth. It didn't happen, so he can do whatever he wants. I don't really have anything to say on Witsit.
You don't trust him now?
I'm just saying he can do whatever he wants. Go whatever path he thinks, that he wants to go in is entirely up to him.
So what do you say about all of the major, like the bigger influencers of Flat Earth that are actually being honest and walking away from it and saying this is bollocks?
Well, this is the thing. It was only a handful of people.
Oh, so once you go flat, you do go back then?
Yeah, but you got to ask yourself, were they really Flat Earthers in the beginning to begin with?
Well, you believed them.
Well, I mean, I was around before them, so it wasn't because of them why I was flat earther.
You was around before them? What, before? So
Yeah.
some of them were around from about 2014. When was you around from?
2014, yeah. I remember when Globebusters had 50 subscribers, and when they just began. I was debating this at the very, very start.
But was that before Jaren then?
Before Jaren, yeah. Before Mark Sargent, before Globebusters, before Bob.
So why didn't you make your name then? Like everyone knows all of these people, and you're just some bloke.
I just prefer just to argue it or make discussions about it. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't looking for the fame or like the fortune besides that.
Did you ever used to go on Nathan Oakley's channel?
Yeah, in the beginning, yeah, in the early days, yeah.
Why?
Because it was a platform. In those days, it was very few people, very few. The numbers were low, and it was being ridiculed at an all-time high. But nowadays, even the Globers are like, "Well,
you think it was ridiculed more than it is now?"
Yeah, back then it was really harsh. It was insane.
There's loads of YouTube channels ridiculing Flat Earth now.
I mean, it's not as bad now today.
No, because the audience isn't there because it's dying.
No, because Flat Earthers fight back now, don't they? Flat Earthers give as much as the globe, So.
Yeah, but not a model. Yeah, we'll give you everything you want back, but we ain't got a model or any kind of observable reality. We can't tell you why the sun isn't smaller in the distance and then massive over your head and then gets smaller and smaller.
I've got to call 1 sec.
Okay, someone else just requested a minute ago, but then fucked off when I went to have them up.
Yeah, I'm back now. Just a quick call. Yeah, so Flat Earth is going in the right direction. Like I said, doesn't really need these models and these maps. This is not one Flat Earther has come to Flat Earth because of a map or a model.
No, because they don't require the evidence they ask in an opposition. That's why.
It's very simple. It should be a picture of the Earth. We have technology. Yeah. We're meant to be modern civilization. There's meant to be real pictures of the Earth. So if in 2025 there's not one real picture of the Earth, that
every 10 minutes
immediately tells you the Earth is not a ball.
Himawari every 10 minutes.
How did he get there?
So you don't believe it then? So why are you asking for it? That's exactly my point. Why are you asking for it if you don't believe it when it's there?
No, I would believe
it. Complete waste of time. What do you mean?
Yeah, but I would believe it if you could show how it got there.
What do you mean if I could show how it's a satellite picture, right? So what's the problem with that?
How did the satellite get there?
It was put there, it was launched and put
exactly. There. You see?
What do you mean? So you don't think satellites are there at all?
No.
So TV, why is my dish pointing in a particular way there?
Well, we've got towers. And
my dish is pointing to a tower. So what about on the equator when they're pointing straight up then?
What are you talking about? It's just a signal to an antenna.
Well, there's a tower that tall, is there? Just next to the equator, a 1,000,000-foot tower that they can all point to.
It's just like waves. That's all. The wave will just filter out, hit the other tower. You've got your signal. It's not that big of a deal.
Oh, you don't believe in Satelloons anymore then?
Well, I mean, again, that's a possibility, but I'm just saying
NASA not buying all the helium.
All communications are done here on Earth, undersea cables and towers.
No. So satellite. So why would they pretend that? Why wouldn't Sky just say we're getting ad TV from a tower over there? Why would they pretend it was from a satellite?
Yeah, internet that we get here.
Are they in on it? Sky
is the phone line. That's how you get your internet, right? So it's all underground.
Sky TV is satellite, right? Why have I got a dish just for show?
Satellite in the sky.
There's a satellite dish on my house getting the TV. Why is it there? Are they just pretending?
So you're saying Sky sent a satellite with their rocket, did they?
Look. Why are they? No, tell me why. No, you use your brain. Why would the lie be so ridiculous that Sky? Wait a minute. No, don't be scared of the question because you know where I'm going and it's fucking ridiculous. Why would Sky come round? Are you going to let me ask this question? Why would Sky come round and bother putting a dish on my house, run a wire from it that picks me up the TV, if they was only pretending there was a satellite there that they was getting it from?
All right, so I'm asking, who did they ask to send the satellite? Was it the Americans?
I don't know what they did. What difference does that make? Why would they go along with all of that ridiculousness just to pretend to you that there's a satellite in the sky?
They're not telling you there's a satellite in the sky.
What are they telling me then?
It's just a signal, one signal.
Why do all dishes point to the same fucking point?
Oh my days. It's just going to another tower. That's it.
The
tower to tower. Line of sight, tower to tower. No big deal.
But everywhere in the world just happens to just point to the same point in the sky, do they? All of the dishes around the world.
It just happens. That's just where the tower is.
The tower. There's a tower just in London, but if you're in Mozambique, just direct your dish from Mozambique to London's tower. That works.
This is not a big deal. Just a tower.
No, it's just another thing that makes you look ridiculous, so you're pretending it's not a big deal.
Well, where's the satellite then? Show me the satellite.
So if I can't show you the satellite, Earth flat.
No, it means satellites not in space.
So you think that the Himawari, back to the original point, do you think that the Himawari is just a fake picture that can just predict weather patterns every 10 minutes and gets them right every time?
It's not doing that.
Yes, it is.
It's not doing any of that.
Oh, that's just made up, is it?
Why is it so hard to
Why do you keep pretending that I'm not understanding things whenever you can't answer a fucking question?
You're acting like, why would they do this? Why, if they're trying to deceive us, then yes, they would do this, right? It wouldn't be that big of a deal.
What to deceive us about the shape of the Earth? They would invent that satellites exist and then get TV from satellites just to buy into the deception when they could just do it other ways and everyone would still think we was on a ball.
Well, that's what...
They literally wouldn't need to do it to deceive anybody.
Heard that Sky said they've got a satellite in space. I've never heard
You
Sky
don't think that Sky satellite television comes from a satellite?
No, never heard that before.
What? Why do you think it's called Sky?
Sky, not space.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Think about what you're saying, Sky. But I've never seen... I'm going to look it up now because I've never actually seen... do Sky TV have a satellite?
The clue is in the name, satellite dish. Right?
So look, it just it's just, this is funny. This is funny. It says no. Hold on. Let me see what it says. They use. Okay, so they're meant to be using some satellite, but they don't have their own satellite.
Oh, so you've just debunked yourself. What a shock.
No, I'm saying...
The clue was in the name, satellite television.
Well...
Yes. You've just looked it up yourself, done some disingenuous laughter, and then realised you was wrong, and now suddenly you don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yes, it said they don't own their own satellite, they use Astra 2 satellite.
What if it's... Oh, okay, they don't own their own satellite, therefore they're lying.
Yeah, because it asked you, how do you know that they use satellites? That's what I was asking.
What difference does it make? So if I'm not a satellite expert, we live on a flat Earth. This is ridiculous.
It means satellites are not in space. But the point is, there are no satellites in space. So they're not using satellites in space. They're using towers on the ground.
But even though you've just looked it up and you've found out that they actually do use satellites.
That's what they say, yes. That's what they tell us.
So what did you look it up for if you wasn't going to believe the answer unless it agreed with you?
How they answer it, to see what they say.
But you just literally laughed because you thought you'd found out that they don't use satellites and you was about to accept that as the truth. And then when you found out you was wrong, suddenly it doesn't matter. Weird.
Yeah, because that's what they tell us. They tell us all sorts about satellites.
Yeah, do they?
Yes.
They just tell us. They just pretend they get the TV from the satellite.
Well, you've never seen the satellite. I've never seen it. No one you know has ever seen it.
Never seen the Sydney Opera House. Can anyone confirm if that exists?
Yeah, but people have been there, right? That's the difference.
Yeah, but I watch TV from the satellite.
Oh, that's what you think.
I have a dish that the wire go into, and when it rains, it cuts off the signal. If it rains a lot, because it doesn't pick up the signal anymore, because it's beaming it from a satellite in space.
So why are you saying that satellite, is it going around the ball or is it in one place?
It'd be in one place or it'd be turning with the Earth because the satellite doesn't move, so it's pointing at the exact same point all the time.
So that satellite is in one place, going around the ball.
And everybody, depending on where you are, if you're using that satellite for your TV, your dish is facing towards it all over the world.
Well, again, that's what they tell us, but we don't have any evidence. Yeah, you're just telling me you're telling me what they've told you.
Yeah, but that's a cowardly argument. Everything I say, you're just going to say, but that's what you were told, whilst presenting nothing yourself whatsoever.
Yeah, but if you're going to say there are satellites, you should be able to show. You should say, look, this is the satellite that is in space giving me my cable.
Why should I be able to do that? You should be able to show me the stupid glass dome that you think is over my head, but you fucking can't.
Yeah, if you look at the Go Fast rocket, that's where it stops.
Oh, rocket? What do you know about rockets? Did you see that rocket yourself going up?
Go Fast
Did you launch that rocket, Gas?
No, this was in America.
Then I don't care.
Well,
that's just what you were told.
No, it's what we can see.
Oh.
Yeah, we can watch the rocket go up, hit something, come back down.
Yeah. Just hits the firmament. Because there's waters above, right, Gas? So that'd be a sensible thing to do, wouldn't it? To try and break through the barrier and let all the waters above flood in and kill us all.
Because the firmament is like a gassy plasma, different types of gas.
Oh, you know exactly what it is now, do you? Usually you don't make any claims on what it is, but when it's convenient, you know exactly what it is. So it's a gassy plasma.
That's how it would be. So there's a plasma gaseous type layer that goes for thousands of miles, and then above that would be waters.
Yeah.
So it's not waters directly above the dome, like literally like a thin layer, and then there's water. There's like a huge area, like 12,000 kilometers or something.
Look, so you've got a distance now. Have you got a large area of the dome now? Have you?
So I'm just giving you
if the figure's not relevant, don't say it. Like, why would you make up a figure and then panic in case I can test whether that's the right size of the Earth?
I'm just giving you an idea. It's not water immediately above the dome. So it's not like dome, like a glass dome.
So I thought, have you ever said the phrase waters above, waters below?
Is that in the Bible?
I don't give a fuck about the Bible. Is it? You tell me.
Well, you're the one that brought waters in this conversation, right?
No, I'm quoting Flat Earth bingo, right? That's all I'm doing. People idiots to me when I talk about Flat Earth, either write in the comment section, what was below, what was above, and all this shit, right? Parroting each other. And I'm just saying, have you ever said that? Because now you're saying not waters above.
No, there are waters above, but I'm saying it's not directly above. Like you're thinking like a thin layer of a dome, and then waters above that.
Well, regardless of what I'm thinking, is there waters above the dome?
Above the firmament, above the firmament.
You know what? Everyone knows.
Yes,
what
above the.
Right, so
12,000 miles away, above that, yes.
Right, so where is the container for that water? Because water needs a container.
What do you mean? Where's the container?
Where's the container for the water that's above the dome?
The container for
why isn't it all running past the dome and downwards like you all believe? Because down in space means south.
Just think of it like spirit level, the bubble. Okay, so we're in the bubble and everything around us is water.
Yeah, I get that, but what's holding the water there? If water would always go that way, according to you, right? And gravity's got nothing to do with it. Why is water not running around the dome continuously like Niagara Falls?
Because I've just told you, there's a gaseous layer.
If you just told me, I wouldn't be asking.
There's a gaseous layer above us, and then above that layer would be waters above that.
What's holding the waters above that there?
That gaseous layer, it gets more and more dense as you go up.
So there's another container going up from the sides of the firmament, holding the water above.
Yeah. So biblically, there's different levels, different heavens.
So the dome, and then there's two bits like that going up from the sides of the dome, keeping the water like that above the dome.
Well, I don't know about the sides, but essentially,
something would have to, according to you, because water needs to.
So you've got the dome. Gaseous layers, firmament, stars, the sun, the moon are in that, and then above that would be waters, I suppose.
Yeah, but being held by what? Just floating there?
No, I've just told you the dense.
You haven't told me anything.
I've just explained.
No, you haven't. Tell me what's holding them there. That's it. That you haven't once touched on that. You just keep repeating yourself about there's water above the dome being held by the dome.
Well, I don't know. How would I know?
Well, why do you believe it then?
Why do I believe what? That there's a dome above us?
Why do you believe there's water above the dome if nothing is there to hold it there?
Well, I don't know. If there is, I haven't been there. That's just what we've been told.
Are you saying the Bible's lying? Surely
Yes,
not.
I've just said the Bible says so, innit? So
It must be true then.
Yeah, I haven't been there, so I can't verify that. But we're told there are waters above and there's waters down here.
Then you just believe that because you were told it. Well, isn't that your entire point?
Well, I've got no reason to doubt it, really, because everything we've been told by man has been a lie, right? When it comes to evolution, when it comes to Big Bang, all that is a lie and made up fabrication.
Because you were told so.
No, because there's no evidence for what any of the Big Bang or evolution.
But you know there is evidence. If there wasn't evidence, people wouldn't believe it, would they?
Yeah, they would, because they want something to believe.
So all of the physicists and scientists that are much smarter than you and I would just believe it because they were told it, and they just wouldn't test it, wouldn't look at it at all. They would just believe it, go to work every day, sit in the corner and eat their lunch and come home for massive money.
These guys are smarter than me, you and I.
If you're going to say they're not, then you're a fucking idiot, because sometimes...
All they've been able to do is recite what they've been told quicker and easier. That's what makes them smart. They can repeat and parrot better than other people. So if I refuse to parrot...
So what do they do for a living? Parrot? That's all they do.
These experts. They just sit on the computer, they make up equations, they write down... Yeah, make up equations, make up formulas.
For what?
Make up hypotheses to try and get prizes, Nobel prizes, things like that. not for any real world purpose. There's no...
So you think...
There's no real world purpose to these top... like scientists, they don't actually do anything that makes the world better. Like there's no like rocket scientists taking a rocket to Mars, to the moon.
Are you saying rocket scientists don't do rocket science?
Yeah, they send rockets in the atmosphere. That's about it. So they're not any smarter than you or I because they're not doing their job. They're not sending rockets to space, which is what they're supposed to do.
Well, if all that's true, if they're not smarter than you and I, then they definitely are smarter than you and I because
when you say smart,
because you and I don't earn what they earn to go to work and not do anything.
We couldn't be bothered to recite and parrot what they've been told over and over again.
You're suggesting that they go to work and just do some equations and shit on their computer
what they've been told,
and just parrot what they've been told and get paid a fortune for that.
Yeah, there's paid a fortune. There's no free thinking.
You don't think they paid a fortune? What do you earn, Gas?
Well, I mean, I didn't say anything if it was or it wasn't. I'm just saying, yes, if you're saying that, all they do is repeat and, you know.
What would anyone pay them to just repeat? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's fucking ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that the paranoia that goes on and I have sympathy for conspiratorial thinking. I think it's quite fun to think about conspiracies and what's going on there.
If it was paranoia, there wouldn't be this discussion. If it was paranoia,
I'm passing the time of my day and making content.
I don't just mean you. I'm not saying just you. I'm saying the amount of flat Earth discussions that are going on at the moment. It wouldn't be if the scientists were doing what you're saying. There wouldn't be this discussion.
If the scientists were doing science, you don't think they are. The plumbers plumb.
No, I'm not talking about those, John. I'm talking about to do with the shape of the Earth. Those so-called scientists are not the experts because all they're doing is repeating what they've been told.
What about amateur? When people just use telescopes and they're just really into it and they're not actually paid to do it, they're just really interested and they're looking at how things are moving around.
What do they see?
And they can use the predictions of the globe to where everything's going to be to go and look at it. There it is. That's where it's supposed to be.
They don't make any predictions.
What do you mean? So people don't say Saturn's going to be there at this time?
Yeah, because the sun, the moon is like a clock. So if you're looking at the clock, remember
But it goes around Antarctica in circles in the winter, doesn't it? And it goes the wrong way in the south compared to what you think it does.
It took 500 years plus of observations to figure out the clock. Once you figure out the clock, you can lie to the people and say, hey, I'm going to predict that, like you just said, Saturn does this. Not telling the people, well, it's actually a clock that does the same cycle over and over and over again. So people like you just believe it. Oh, right, they make predictions.
No,
but all they
people
did was
like me
500
wait and see if it can be proven, and then they watch live streams from Antarctica and see the sun in the sky at midnight. And they also see the sun going the other way to what it does in the north. And they think there's absolutely no fucking way that a spinning sun over a flat disc could do that. And then I think, that's good evidence. Whereas you think that doesn't agree with me, therefore I don't agree with that. I'm not going to accept it, and I'm just going to pretend that it wasn't true. If flat earthers had gone to Antarctica and provided 24-hour video of the sun setting, I would have totally thought that's some fucking good evidence here. There's something wrong here. How have they got that?
I mean, again, you know the rules. Will Duffy had to follow protocol. He didn't follow protocol. We knew he wouldn't be able to follow protocol because he was lying. The fact that he couldn't make the phone call, the fact that he couldn't live stream 24 hours tells us, anyone with a brain tells you that they lied and deceived. There was lots of
now, anyone that's ridiculously paranoid about absolutely everything would tell you that. Not anyone with a brain. Anyone with a brain would follow the evidence and actually not be scared of adjusting their position based on new evidence.
Because people like you are not humble enough to recognise when you've been fooled.
Gas, you have completely rejected all of the observations and experiments that have come out. No, you have rejected. They didn't just look at the 24-hour sun. They did loads of things. If you go to Will's channel, he's bringing out a new thing every couple of weeks that they tested down there. And you just disregard every single one of them.
How do you
without
have faith
any
in this
evidence?
fraud?
Why would I not have faith? I don't know the bloke, but why?
Exactly. Why do you have so much faith?
Why do you have faith in a fucking book that some bloke wrote?
Well, that's the thing. That was the thing. The book was meant to be tested. So if the book was false, that means the Earth is a globe. The moon, you went to the moon. Evolution is true. So you guys had your chance to show it to be true, but you failed. So what do I do in this
failed?
moment?
How was it? How was it a failure?
You failed to show evolution. It's true. You failed to show real pictures of the Earth. You failed to show that.
No, real pictures of the Earth have been showed. You just don't like them, so you just pretend they've not been shown.
We can't leave the atmosphere to get there in the first place.
So so you would reject any picture of the Earth then by saying we cannot get there, so therefore that's fake. So why are you asking for pictures of the Earth?
Show a rocket go into space. You can't. Not you specifically, but I'm saying Globers can't show a rocket going into space.
If you saw a rocket go into space, you would say that's not real. That's CGI.
No, I wouldn't. I would say that's a rocket going to space.
You literally, you said, right, and I'm going to say what you said here, and I've got it recorded if you want to pretend that you didn't say this. But you said before the final experiment that you believed that they would put a fake sun in the sky on a helicopter or a plane and hang it and go round in circles to pretend that was the sun. To you, that was a real thing that might have been done. Right.
Yeah, but I think if I did say that, which I don't think I did, but if I did say that, you were asking for possible. Yeah, but you were asking for possible ways that I've never thought that that's the way they would do it. No, I've always thought that they would do it on a computer.
Don't make me make you a liar, Gas. I can put the clip up.
I said if I did say then I did. I must. You've got to get the context out of that because I'm just saying.
We spoke about it for about 20 minutes. There was plenty of context.
You probably asked me, well, how do you think they could have done it? How could they do it? If I did say that.
Yeah, well, of course I did. How else would you get to that topic? You said they'd use a fake sun. I said how, and that was your explanation. A sun on a string, a sun simulator.
Play it. Let me hear me. I don't think I did say that.
Well, I'm not going to go. I will put a clip up within the next week if I can scroll back and find that clip of you saying.
Yeah, I don't think
it's probably already on my channel if you scroll back enough. I'm sure I would have shared it.
A little bit outrageous.
A little bit.
Yeah, I don't think I would have gone there. To me, it's very simple. Like I said, it's computer editing. They use a computer. They just use the same sun at the daytime as the nighttime. No big deal. Just looping it. Like they showed us, just looped.
What, just loops? So you would just loop it with that?
In the video on my channel, I've got the video where the sun loops at the beginning and at the end. Just what they did. It's not a big deal.
You've got the 24 hours, the 9 hours.
When McKeegan uploaded his first video of the 24-hour sun, a time lapse, it shows the beginning of the video is the same as the end of the video. It's been looped, right? So that wouldn't happen in the real world. 24 hours later, you wouldn't get a looped video. So, yeah, like you can't use that as evidence. We're looking for concrete evidence with no anomalies.
You don't accept it. What would be concrete evidence to you?
no anomalies.
It's funny that everyone said a trip to Antarctica would be concrete evidence before they did the trip to Antarctica, and now they say it's not concrete. We don't want that.
Well, it would have been concrete if you made the phone call.
you say that to troll. I'm sure of it.
No, it would have been concrete if you made the call if we would stream 24 hours. It would have been. That's what we asked for.
Come on, speak.
They had a stream that was over 24 hours. It was actually 26 hours, and it didn't repeat.
No, that was a recording, not a live stream.
So after the 26 hours, if they put that on repeat, then that's what happened. But it was 26 hours in total.
Yeah, but I'm saying they didn't show a live stream of the 24-hour sun. They only showed a recording.
You could, Gas, if you watched the long videos that he's talking about, though, on YouTube, so you can scan around and watch what everybody's doing the whole time, the conversations that are going on.
It was too late at that moment. That was weeks and weeks too late, and it's all cut up and edited. No, thank you.
If you don't, what do you mean cut up? Find the edits. Go watch it. Single out the edits in it and come bring that back here and show me next week.
So they did attempt to live stream, however, because there is limited access to satellites over Antarctica. That's why they weren't able to do a full 24-hour. But they did live stream as much as they could.
Yeah, for 3 hours in the beginning on Rumble
at midnight,
and then the camera cuts. We can't verify that was at midnight. They didn't call anybody.
I watched it.
Didn't they like take turns live streaming? So like one would go live and
how do you know that wasn't recorded from the morning? You don't know that. He even called Steve out, so he could have recorded it. He said, "Hey, Steve, you know, I'm at midnight. This is midnight."
That Steve got super offended with me. By the way, come on to one of my videos. If you want an actual conversation, I said, "Yeah, I'll have a conversation." No, you're not worth talking to. So Steve doesn't want to talk to me. What a shame.
Right. Because you guys like to clown and mess around. That's the point here.
Yeah, because Steve's a dickhead, that's why. Steve was like a fucking 60-year-old baby in that. I wasn't the most important person. What if that was me and I was really interested in the truth? I'd have said, you didn't call me. This is looking suspicious. And then Will said, you want me to call you tonight? I said, yeah, call me tonight at midnight. We'll do it tonight. But we didn't want to do that. He was too busy having a tantrum.
All of them, there was 10 of them there, 8, 10, whatever. Every single one of them should have made a phone call to somebody back in the mainland.
Well, they all paid. They all paid to pretend that they saw the sun, according to.
So McToon's phone call to Nathan should have been at 12 o'clock, not in their morning. You know, McDuffie's call should have been at 12 o'clock.
Because Nathan, he's an honest character, isn't he?
But what I'm saying is, McToon should have called Nathan at 12 o'clock. Not at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Sounds like cognitive dissonance to me, mate.
And that's the problem. So all of them, Jaren could have made a call, Witsit could have made a call, Liz could have made a call, Jonathan could have made a call, Will Duffy could have made a call, McToon could have made a call, and that other guy, I forget the one, Candice Owens guy.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if they prioritized what they were doing over making phone calls, and they had
that's kind of
other things that they felt were more important.
Yeah, but I'm saying when flat earthers are asking for requests, those are the kind of things we're looking for to verify it's not lie. You say, what would you accept? Those types of things. That would have been 10.
So the only thing you didn't get then is what you would accept. Everything else that you would have asked for, you got.
No, we did ask for a phone call. We asked for one phone call. We didn't get one.
If the phone calls would have happened, they still would be denied anyway.
No, because we know it would have been night time when they make that phone call. That they know it and we know it. That's why they didn't make the phone call, because it was dark. The sun had long gone.
So,
but not in Chile. Not in southern Chile the night before.
The sun had long gone. It would be set. That's why they couldn't make the
same time anywhere, right?
No, it's very simple. And if Nathan's going next year or this year, is it this year or next year, whatever it is, I think it's this year, December, obviously this year. If the phone call's not made, then why would anyone believe it? It's got to be a live, like I'm talking to you now, where I'd put my camera on, I'd say, look, here's the sun. I'm talking to you now in real time. Look, it's completely bright. Here's the sun.
Well, isn't a FaceTime or like a live stream pretty much the same thing, where you turn your camera on and you're talking and showing everything that's going on?
I tell you
because
why,
they did live stream.
No, that stream could have been recorded from the morning.
You know video. You know the video they've got up there that's 26 hours that they've got. I know it's in 3 different parts, but because YouTube don't allow you to upload a 24-hour video, but you could go through that gas and you could tell everybody exactly when it starts to get dark and they have to switch out and go back to the earlier footage of the sun in the sky, even though it's at a different place over a different mountain now. How would they have done that? Can you explain?
So it's just like a normal day. You get sunlight.
Yeah, but you can look at one point is if you actually go and look at them, you can look around constantly and see people in all different places. It's like really clever. You can do.
Oh, let me tell you. Yeah, I can tell you. When the sun remember in McToon's video, the sun, not McToon, McKeegan, sorry, the sun starts to stretch and go to like a American football.
That is when it's been sped up.
That's your excuse. That's to me where the editing is taking
place.
Josh
has told you exactly why that happens, and of course he's just a shill.
You asked me to explain where the cuts and edits, and that is one of the places where they would cut and edit.
No.
Where the sun starts to go in different shapes, they've got to do editing, and that's why it happens.
First of all, if they recorded a video in the morning looking at the sun, you would see the same thing if they were showing it later on in the evening, if you're saying they pre-recorded it. Second of all, they had actually 2 360 cameras, one point in one direction, one point in the other direction, to compensate for that split where the video are stitched together. So one of them actually shows the sun where it isn't distorted because you're looking at it from a different camera. And then the other one is showing it where it is distorted because that's where the line separates it.
Your first point, you said it would be the same at the beginning.
Right, I'm going to have to stop the live and restart. Someone's actually put me up for bullying and something, so I'm going to have to stop and restart. Absolutely insane. Right, okay.
Are you coming back, are you?
Yeah, I'll come back.